Why everything is temporary, Buddhist impermanence. Impermanence, Anicca, is one of the fundamental teachings in Buddhism. It reminds us that everything in life, our possessions, relationships, emotions, and even our physical existence, is in a constant state of change. The Buddha taught that clinging to things as if they are permanent leads to suffering, dukkha, while embracing impermanence brings wisdom and liberation. In modern life, we often resist change, whether it's the loss of a loved one, the end of a relationship, or simply the passage of time. But the truth is, impermanence is not something to fear, it is a gift that allows growth, renewal, and freedom. This guide explores impermanence from a Buddhist, scientific, and practical perspective, offering insights on how to live with greater peace and acceptance. Understanding Anicca, the law of change. In Buddhism, impermanence, Anicca, is a fundamental truth of existence. It teaches that nothing remains fixed, everything is in a constant state of flux, arising and passing away. This applies to all aspects of life, from our thoughts and emotions to our relationships and even the physical universe itself. The Buddha emphasized that much of human suffering arises from clinging to things as if they are permanent. We seek security in what is fleeting, only to experience disappointment when it inevitably changes. The key to peace is not to resist impermanence but to embrace it with wisdom and equanimity. Impermanence in everyday life. The principle of Anicca manifests in many aspects of life, including 1. Material possessions, the fleeting nature of wealth and status. No matter how much wealth we accumulate, it is never truly ours to keep. Material things deteriorate, lose their value, or are taken away due to circumstances beyond our control. Small blue diamond example, think of a brand new smartphone. When we first buy it, we treasure it. But over time, it scratches, slows down, or becomes outdated. Eventually, we replace it. If we had attached our happiness to that phone, we would experience dissatisfaction and frustration when it no longer serves us. 2. Emotions and thoughts, the rise and fall of mental states. Our emotions and thoughts are constantly changing. We may feel joy in one moment and sorrow in the next. The problem arises when we try to hold on to pleasure or push away pain instead of accepting their temporary nature. Small blue diamond example, imagine feeling overjoyed after receiving good news. However, that happiness fades when something disappointing happens. The same applies to sadness, what feels unbearable today may seem insignificant weeks later. Understanding this helps us stay present and avoid being overwhelmed by temporary emotions. 3. Relationships, the changing nature of human connections. People come into our lives, and people leave. Friendships evolve, family members pass away, and romantic relationships shift. If we expect relationships to always remain the same, we set ourselves up for heartache. Small blue diamond example, a couple deeply in love may assume their feelings will never change. But as they grow, so do their personalities, desires, and circumstances. Some relationships deepen with time, while others fade away. Accepting impermanence allows us to love without attachment and to let go when necessary. For physical life, the inevitability of aging and death. The Buddha frequently reminded his followers to contemplate the impermanence of life. Our bodies age, our health fluctuates, and ultimately, we all face death. Instead of fearing this truth, Buddhism teaches us to use it as motivation to live mindfully and compassionately. Small blue diamond example, consider a flower. It begins as a bud, blooms in beauty, and eventually withers away. No matter how much we wish for it to last forever, its nature is to change. Similarly, our lives are temporary, and realizing this encourages us to appreciate each moment fully. The Buddha's teaching on impermanence. The Buddha compared life to a river always flowing, never the same in any 2 moments. Just as a river is not a single, fixed entity but a continuous movement of water, our experiences, thoughts, and existence are always shifting. One of the most famous Buddhist parables on impermanence is the simile of the mustard seed. Small blue diamond example, a grieving mother, Kisagami, sought the Buddha's help to bring her dead child back to life. The Buddha told her to find a mustard seed from a household that had never experienced death. She searched but found that every family had lost someone. This realization led her to understand that suffering and change are universal, allowing her to let go of her grief. Why do we struggle with impermanence? Even though change is the natural order of life, we resist it because of attachment and fear. Attachment, we become emotionally invested in people, possessions, and experiences, believing they define us. Fear of the unknown, the unpredictability of change makes us anxious, as we prefer the illusion of stability. Ego and identity, we attach our self-worth to external things, e.g., job, wealth, relationships, and struggle when they shift. Breaking free from attachment. Understanding impermanence does not mean we should stop caring or enjoying life. Instead, it encourages us to love deeply without clinging, appreciate without grasping, and embrace each moment as it comes. Reflection, letting go and finding peace. Small blue diamond, imagine holding sand in your hand. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through your fingers. Life is the same way. If we cling too tightly, we suffer. But if we hold it gently, we can experience it fully. Small blue diamond, ask yourself, what areas of my life am I struggling to accept as impermanent? How does my attachment create unnecessary suffering? What would change if I embraced impermanence instead of resisting it? By deeply reflecting on these questions and applying the wisdom of Anicca, we can move toward a life of greater peace, freedom, and acceptance. Buddhism has long taught that impermanence, Anicca, is an undeniable truth of existence. Everything in life is in a state of constant change, from the smallest particle to the vast universe. While this idea was originally a spiritual insight, modern science has provided compelling evidence that impermanence is not just a philosophical concept, it is a fundamental law of nature. By exploring impermanence through physics, neuroscience, and psychology, we can see how deeply interconnected science and Buddhist wisdom truly are. 1. The law of entropy, the universe's constant decay. One of the most profound scientific principles supporting impermanence is the second law of thermodynamics, also known as the law of entropy. This law states that everything in the universe naturally moves toward disorder, decay, and transformation. A hot cup of coffee eventually cools down. A building, no matter how well constructed, will deteriorate over time. Even stars, which shine for billions of years, will one day burn out. Small blue diamond example, a brand new car begins to lose value the moment it leaves the dealership. Over time, the paint fades, the engine wears down, and eventually, it will no longer function. This is an inevitable process. No matter how much we maintain it, deterioration cannot be stopped. This law aligns with the Buddhist view that clinging to things as if they are permanent leads to suffering. Instead of resisting decay, we should embrace the flow of change with wisdom and acceptance. 2. Quantum mechanics, the ever-changing nature of reality. At the smallest level of existence, quantum physics reveals that reality is constantly shifting. Particles are in constant motion, even in solid objects. The atoms that make up matter are always vibrating in changing states. Uncertainty is built into existence. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle suggests that we can never know both the exact position and speed of a particle at the same time. This means that at a fundamental level, reality is unpredictable. Objects are not truly solid. What we perceive as stable matter is mostly empty space, filled with dynamic energy fields. Small blue diamond example, imagine placing your hand on a table. It feels solid, yet science tells us that the atoms making up the table are constantly moving and shifting at a microscopic level. In reality, nothing is as fixed as it seems. This aligns with the Buddhist teaching that everything we perceive is subject to change. Even the physical world that seems stable is in a state of continuous transformation. 3. Neuroscience, the changing mind and self. Modern neuroscience supports the Buddhist concept of anatta, non-self, which teaches that our identity is not fixed, it is an ever-changing process. Neuroplasticity, the brain is not static, it rewires itself based on experiences, thoughts, and habits. Emotional states are temporary. Research shows that emotions, no matter how intense, fade over time due to the brain's adaptation mechanisms. Memory is unreliable. Our recollections of the past change each time we remember them, proving that even our sense of self is fluid. Small blue diamond example, studies have shown that monks who practice mindfulness and compassion meditation literally reshape their brain structure, increasing areas associated with peace and empathy while reducing stress responses. This proves that even our minds are not permanent, they can be transformed with practice. 4. How science and Buddhism align on impermanence. Both science and Buddhism reach the same fundamental conclusion. everything is in a state of flux. Whether it's the decay of physical objects, the constant movement of subatomic particles, or the ever-changing nature of our thoughts and emotions, nothing remains the same. Instead of resisting this truth, we should embrace impermanence as a path to wisdom, resilience, and freedom from suffering. Small blue diamond reflection: how does understanding impermanence from a scientific perspective change the way you view life? Does it help you appreciate the present moment more? The emotional impact of impermanence: facing change with peace. Change is an unavoidable part of life, yet it is often met with fear, resistance, and anxiety. From the loss of loved ones to career instability and aging, impermanence can feel overwhelming. However, when we shift our perspective and embrace change as a natural and necessary part of existence, we can find inner peace and freedom. Why do we fear change? Despite knowing that everything is temporary, many of us struggle with accepting impermanence. This resistance stems from deep-rooted fears, including 1. Fear of losing loved ones. We form deep emotional connections, and the thought of losing someone we love brings pain. Whether through death, distance, or changing relationships, the impermanence of human connections is one of life's greatest challenges. 2. Anxiety over career instability. Many define their self-worth through their profession. Losing a job or experiencing uncertainty in one's career path can feel like losing one's identity. We seek financial security and fear the unknown, making career changes stressful. 3. Resistance to aging and death. Society glorifies youth, making aging feel like a loss rather than a natural transformation. We avoid thinking about death, yet it is the one certainty in life. The fear of mortality often leads to clinging to life instead of fully living it. How to find peace in change? Rather than fighting impermanence, we can learn to flow with it. Acceptance does not mean indifference, it means understanding that change is the very essence of life. 1. Mindfulness, living in the present. The root of suffering lies in our resistance to the present moment, wishing things were different or fearing what comes next. Mindfulness teaches us to be fully present, observing change without clinging or resisting. Small blue diamond practice: next time you feel overwhelmed by change, pause and take 3 deep breaths. Focus on what is happening right now rather than worrying about what was or what will be. 2. Gratitude, appreciating what is. Rather than fearing loss, we can celebrate what we have while we have it. When we embrace gratitude, we shift our perspective from fear of impermanence to appreciation of each moment. Small blue diamond practice: keep a gratitude journal where you write down 3 things each day that you are grateful for. This practice helps cultivate joy in the present instead of worrying about the future. 3. Letting go, releasing attachment. Clinging to what is already slipping away creates suffering. True peace comes not from holding on, but from letting go with love and acceptance. Small blue diamond practice: when facing a difficult change, reflect on this question. Am I suffering because of the change itself, or because I am resisting it? Example: finding growth in heartbreak. A person devastated by a breakup may suffer deeply if they cling to the past, replaying memories, and resisting reality. However, by accepting the end of the relationship, they open themselves to new experiences, self-growth, and even deeper connections in the future. Reflection: transforming resistance into growth. What is one change you resisted in the past that ultimately led to something positive? By embracing impermanence, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and open our hearts to the beauty of life's constant transformation. Instead of fearing change, we can welcome it as the very thing that makes life meaningful. The role of impermanence in personal growth: change as a teacher. Impermanence, Anicca, is often associated with loss, but in reality, it is also the source of growth, renewal, and transformation. Every challenge, transition, and unexpected shift in life offers an opportunity for deep personal evolution. Instead of resisting change, we can embrace it as a teacher, one that strengthens resilience, enhances flexibility, and leads to profound wisdom. 1. Resilience, strength through hardship. Difficult moments test us, but they also build our inner strength. Without challenges, we would never develop courage, patience, or endurance. Heartbreak teaches emotional resilience. Failure teaches perseverance. Loss teaches us to cherish what we have while we have it. Small blue diamond example: a person who experiences financial hardship may initially feel hopeless. But by adapting, learning, and persevering, they develop a strength they never knew they had, one that allows them to rebuild and thrive. A diamond is formed under pressure. Hardships shape us into who we are meant to become. 2. Flexibility, adapting to life's flow. Nothing in life is permanent, so rigidity only leads to suffering. When we resist change, we create inner turmoil. But when we remain open and adaptable, we move with life instead of against it. Instead of clinging to how things should be, we accept life as it unfolds. Instead of fearing uncertainty, we welcome new possibilities. Instead of breaking under pressure, we learn to bend like bamboo, strong yet flexible. Small blue diamond example: a person who loses their job may initially feel devastated. But by embracing change, they might discover a new career path, a passion they had ignored, or a chance to reinvent themselves. What seemed like a misfortune becomes an opportunity. Be like water, my friend. It flows, adapts, and takes the shape of whatever life presents. Bruce Lee. 3. Wisdom, letting go of ego and materialism. Impermanence teaches us that clinging to things, status, possessions, relationships only leads to suffering. True wisdom lies in detaching from illusions of permanence and focusing on what truly matters. Material things deteriorate. Happiness doesn't come from possessions but from inner peace. Titles and status fade. Who we are is deeper than any label or achievement. People change. Instead of trying to control them, we appreciate them while they are in our lives. Small blue diamond example: a person who once measured success by wealth may find greater fulfillment through helping others, practicing mindfulness, and cultivating inner peace. True happiness isn't found in things that fade but in qualities that endure: kindness, wisdom, and compassion. Impermanence does not mean life is meaningless. It means every moment is precious. Reflection: how has change shaped you? Look back at your life. What challenges once felt impossible but ultimately made you stronger? What losses led to new beginnings? Like a caterpillar dissolving before becoming a butterfly, personal transformation often requires letting go of what we once were to become something greater. Change is not the enemy, it is the path to growth. Death and impermanence, the ultimate truth. Few things evoke as much fear and discomfort as death. Yet, in Buddhism, death is not seen as something to dread, it is the greatest teacher of impermanence, Anicca. The Buddha encouraged his followers to meditate on death, Maranasati, not as a morbid exercise, but as a way to awaken to the preciousness of life and break free from attachment. By reflecting on death, we do not become hopeless, we become truly alive. 1. Meditating on death, Maranasati, the path to wisdom. Maranasati is the Buddhist practice of contemplating mortality to develop wisdom, detachment, and deep appreciation for the present moment. It reminds us that life is fleeting, and therefore, every moment is sacred. How meditating on death transforms us. Encourages living fully in the present. Instead of procrastinating happiness, we cherish each day. Reduces fear of the unknown. By facing death directly, we remove its power over us. Promotes kindness and gratitude. Knowing life is short, we become more loving, forgiving, and appreciative. Small blue diamond example: Tibetan monks practice meditating in graveyards, contemplating decaying bodies. Rather than evoking fear, this practice cultivates acceptance, peace, and liberation from attachment to the physical form. 2. Why contemplating death is liberating. Many people avoid thinking about death, but ignoring it only increases fear. Facing it, however, leads to freedom from suffering. We stop sweating the small stuff. When we remember that life is short, trivial worries lose their power. We live with purpose. Instead of chasing meaningless distractions, we focus on what truly matters. We embrace change with grace. Death teaches us that everything passes, so we learn to let go, forgive, and love unconditionally. Small blue diamond example: imagine being told you have 1 year left to live. Would you spend time worrying about things that don't truly matter? Or would you love more deeply, forgive more freely, and appreciate each sunrise with fresh eyes? 3. Reflection: if today were your last day. If you knew this was your last day on earth, how would you choose to live it? Would you? Heavy checkmark hold grudges or let go with compassion? Heavy checkmark worry about the future or embrace the present moment? Heavy checkmark chase material success or invest in relationships and inner peace? The truth is, every day could be our last. Instead of fearing death, we can use it as a guide to live with greater meaning, gratitude, and love. Small blue diamond final thought: to accept death is to finally begin living. Practical ways to embrace impermanence. Impermanence, Anicca, is an unavoidable truth, yet many of us struggle with accepting change. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, financial setbacks, or personal transformation, resisting change only creates suffering. Instead of fearing impermanence, we can learn to embrace it as a gateway to freedom, growth, and peace. Here are practical ways to cultivate acceptance and find beauty in the ever-changing nature of life. 1. Mindful awareness, seeing life as flowing water. Everything we experience, our emotions, thoughts, and even our bodies, are like waves in the ocean. They arise, exist for a time, and then fade away. Instead of clinging to pleasant experiences or resisting painful ones, we can simply observe them with mindful awareness. Small blue diamond practice. Throughout the day, pause and notice your emotions. Say to yourself, "This feeling is temporary, like a passing cloud." Recognize that no matter how intense an emotion feels, it will eventually fade. Small blue diamond example: a person experiencing heartbreak may feel as if their sadness will never end. But when they observe their emotions without resistance, they begin to see that sadness, too, comes and goes like the tide. 2. Minimalism, letting go of attachment to things. The more we attach our identity to material possessions, achievements, or external validation, the more we suffer when they change or disappear. By practicing minimalism, we learn to enjoy what we have without being dependent on it for happiness. Small blue diamond practice. Declutter your home, let go of items you no longer need. Notice how freeing it feels to release attachment. Reflect: does this possession bring lasting joy, or is it just a temporary pleasure? Small blue diamond example: someone who loses a high-paying job may initially feel lost, but by shifting their focus to what truly matters, relationships, personal growth, and well-being, they find deeper fulfillment. 3. Journaling, reflecting on daily experiences of change. Journaling is a powerful tool for deepening our understanding of impermanence. By recording daily changes, we train our minds to accept and appreciate life's natural flow. Small blue diamond practice. Every night, write down one change, big or small, you observed during the day. Reflect: did this change bring resistance or peace? How did it affect your emotions? Small blue diamond example: a person struggling with aging might write about how their body feels different from 10 years ago, but also reflect on the wisdom and growth they have gained over time. 4. Meditation on impermanence, releasing resistance. In Buddhist practice, contemplating impermanence helps dissolve fear and attachment. Meditation allows us to surrender to change instead of fighting it. Small blue diamond practice. Find a quiet place to sit. Close your eyes and visualize a flowing river. Imagine placing your fears and attachments into the water and watching them drift away. Repeat the phrase, "Everything changes. I allow life to unfold." Small blue diamond example: someone struggling with financial loss can shift their focus from what was lost to new possibilities ahead. Instead of resisting, they trust that life is always moving forward, bringing new opportunities. Reflection: how can you become more comfortable with change? Change is not the enemy, it is the essence of life. Instead of fearing impermanence, we can use it as a tool for self-discovery, freedom, and deeper appreciation. Small blue diamond, ask yourself: what is one daily practice I can adopt to embrace change with an open heart? How would my life improve if I stopped clinging and started flowing with impermanence? By shifting our perspective, we transform impermanence from a source of suffering into a path to liberation. Impermanence and enlightenment, the path to liberation. At its deepest level, embracing impermanence, Anicca, is not just about coping with change, it is about transcending suffering entirely. The Buddha taught that all suffering, dukkha, arises from attachment to things that are impermanent, whether it's material possessions, relationships, or even our own identity. By fully realizing the transient nature of existence, we begin to let go of our attachments, leading us toward freedom, wisdom, and ultimately, enlightenment, nirvana. 1. Wisdom, prajna, seeing clearly without clinging. True wisdom is not about accumulating knowledge, it is about seeing reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. When we deeply understand impermanence, we stop clinging to what is bound to change. We no longer attach our happiness to things that are fleeting. We stop fearing loss because we recognize that everything is naturally passing. We accept life's ups and downs with clarity and grace. Small blue diamond example: a person who understands impermanence no longer feels devastated by failure. Instead, they see it as a temporary experience, one that will pass, just like success. To understand everything is to forgive everything. The Buddha. 2. Compassion, karuna, recognizing that all beings experience change and suffering. When we see that everyone is subject to impermanence, we develop greater compassion for others. We recognize that everyone experiences loss, aging, illness, and eventual death. Every person faces struggles and uncertainties. No one is exempt from change. This understanding softens our hearts and makes us more patient, kind, and forgiving. Small blue diamond example: instead of holding grudges, a person practicing compassion understands that people change, make mistakes, and grow. They choose to forgive rather than hold on to anger. Hatred does not cease by hatred, but by love alone. The Buddha. 3. Equanimity, upekkha, maintaining inner peace no matter what happens. Equanimity is the ability to remain peaceful and balanced in the face of change. It does not mean indifference, it means acceptance without resistance. When things go well, we enjoy them without clinging. When hardships arise, we face them without despair. We trust the natural flow of life, knowing that everything, both joy and suffering, is temporary. Small blue diamond example: the Buddha attained enlightenment by realizing that attachment to impermanent things is the root of suffering. He did not withdraw from life, he engaged with it fully, but without clinging. Just as a rock is not shaken by the wind, the wise are not shaken by praise or blame. Reflection: how does understanding impermanence shift your spiritual perspective? If everything is temporary, what is truly worth holding on to? How would your life change if you stopped clinging and started flowing? What if freedom doesn't come from controlling life, but from surrendering to its natural rhythm? By fully accepting impermanence, we do not lose anything, we gain everything. We let go of fear, embrace life's beauty, and walk the path toward true peace and enlightenment. Conclusion: the freedom in letting go. Impermanence is not something to fear, it is a gift. It teaches us to embrace life fully, without clinging to what will inevitably change. By accepting Anicca, we cultivate resilience, gratitude, and wisdom. Key takeaways: everything is temporary: pain, joy, success, and failure. Letting go of attachment brings freedom and peace. Embracing change leads to personal and spiritual growth. Folded hands. Final reflection: what is one thing you are ready to let go of today? How will this shift bring you peace?